and you are blaming Democrats and DEI policies.
But I think that's not a very smart question. I'm surprised coming from you.
You held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
you
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
I'm starting to think that Kaitlan Collins, Katie Roo, I'm starting to think that the Roo likes to be humiliated. Starting to think that the Roo takes pleasure in being publicly embarrassed by Donald Trump. Maybe she is a glutton for punishment. Maybe Roo is attracted to toxic masculinity, which fine. That's fine. That's actually natural. Contrary to the belief of deacons at Woke United Methodist, women are naturally attracted to masculinity. Now, of course, women like Roo, they're not going to tell you that. They'll tell you that they're attracted to sensitive men. Ooh, I once went on a date with a sensitive man and he cried while we were watching RuPaul's Drag Race. It was so sweet. Yeah, notice the past tense, I once went on a date. There wasn't a second date because she was biologically turned off by a dude who cries tears of joy when he sees another man in a dress. Kaitlan Collins has a very long history of being publicly humiliated by the Trumper. Hell, I just showed you 2 clips from just the past couple of years. After a while, you would think Kaitlan Collins would learn her lesson. I mean, the Roo is a smart woman, besides the fact that she's based the foundation of her media career at the Cemetery News Network. As you guys know, CNN is the place where media careers are buried. Jeffrey Toobin, he was once a respected author. Years ago, there was an excellent series. I think it came on FX. It was called The People versus O.J. Simpson. Cuba Gooding Jr., I think, played O.J. Simpson. John Travolta, he played the role of Robert Shapiro. David Schwimmer, the dude from Friends, he was excellent in his role as Robert Kardashian. The entire series was great. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. But the series was based on a book that was written by Jeffrey Toobin. The book was even better than the series. Believe it or not, Jeffrey Toobin, he's actually written several good books, but he is not known for that. He's not known for being a respected author. Jeff is known for passionately spanking the wanker during a Zoom meeting at CNN. Think of all the media careers that have perished at the Cemetery News Network. Donnie Lemon, Chris Cuomo. Hey, it's me, Chrissy C. Now, to his credit, Chris Cuomo has been able to somewhat resurrect his career. Wolf Blitzer, woof, woof, woof. Wolf Blitzer used to be in the mainstream, but over the last few years, Wolf has not been able to grow its audience. The only thing that Wolf Blitzer has grown is more wrinkles. The only positive in the last few years with Wolf Blitzer, even at his advanced age, he still has more hair than Joy Reid. Katie Roo Collins is young. She could have started her media career anywhere. Matter of fact, she used to work at Fox News, but she left Fox News to join CNN because I guess she thought her career trajectory would be expedited. She knew it would be years before she was given an opportunity in prime time at Fox News because Fox has actual talent. The Roo knew that she could ascend quickly at CNN because the entire network is filled with unknowns and aging fossils. Lately, Roo has been working 2 jobs at CNN. I believe she's working 2 jobs for the same pay. At night, Roo hosts a primetime dump that no one watches. But during the day, Kaitlan Collins is seen. Kaitlan Collins has visibility. She's exposed to the mainstream. Because during the day, Roo is responsible for covering the White House, and wherever Donnie Trump goes, the woke welfare collectors and the media are sure to follow. Yesterday, the Trumper invited the media to the Oval Office for a press briefing. One of the first questions asked was, "What happened to the bed? Why is there a desk in here?" Throughout the last 4 years, Johnny B. Biden, he was using the Oval Office for nap time. But with the Trumper, the Oval Office has returned to being an actual office. During the meeting, the media, they were asking Donnie about his good friend Vlad Putin. Initially, they were asking the usual questions. The media was asking questions that they thought were important. How does Vlad choose to identify? What letter and color of the rainbow does Mr. Putin identify with? Is he gender non-binary? Does Vlad enjoy the mighty weenie? After the pleasantries were exchanged, the media, they wanted to know about Ukraine. Someone from the media asked a legitimate question, and it was followed up by Kaitlan Collins plagiarizing by asking the same thing. As a result of this blatant plagiarism, the Trumper took a moment to embarrass CNN and humiliate Kaitlan Collins. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Today on the second channel, gonna be talking about Clay Travis teaching deacons at Woke United Methodist about masculinity. Earlier this week, Clay Travis, he was part of a panel at the University of Chicago. The deacons, they're struggling right now. They wanted to know why young men have abandoned the Democratic Party and the woke faith. Now, to his credit, in a room filled with wanker spankers, Clay Travis told them exactly why young men are disgusted with the Democrats. As expected, the entire room was highly offended by his response. I really enjoyed making this video. I think it's one of the best videos I've ever made. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. So head over to the second channel and subscribe. All right, the media, they are asking the Trumper about Vlad Putin. Earlier this week, the Trumper negotiated the release of an American teacher in Russia. He has been detained since 2021 and was serving a 14-year sentence for puffing the magic dragon. I guess this teacher was traveling to Russia with Bob Greiner. Clearly, he did not listen to his parents when they told him, stay away from WNBA dump divers. Johnny B. Biden did everything he could to secure the release of Bob Greiner, but he left this teacher over in Russia. So the Trumper, he stepped in and took care of business. Now the media, they started asking the Trumper about Vlad Putin and his never-ending war in Ukraine. According to the Trumper, President Putin is interested in ending the war. Vlad wants to end the war. President Putin, he just wants to return to Putin in peace. Someone from the media asked Donnie, when Vlad says he wants peace, do you believe him? That is a legitimate question, right? If a foreign leader is telling our president that he wants peace, a logical question would be, do you believe him? Trump acknowledged the legitimacy of the question by providing an adequate response. But while he was trying to answer the question, Kaitlan Collins decided to rudely interrupt him. This isn't some colleague she's interrupting. This isn't some doofus guest on her primetime dump. Kaitlan Collins had the audacity to interrupt the president. It would be one thing if Donnie was bloviating and Rue interrupted him to bring him back to the point. It would be one thing if Rue was rudely interrupting the president to ask a follow-up question. But Rue interrupted the Trumper seconds into his answer to ask the same question. It was a decision that Kaitlan Collins immediately regretted. Watch for yourself.
When Putin says that he really wants peace, do you believe him?
Yeah, I do. I believe he wants peace. I believe that President Putin, when I spoke to him yesterday, I mean, I know him very well. Yeah, I think he wants peace. I think he would tell me if he didn't. I'd like to see peace.
Do you trust President Putin?
I believe that, I believe that he would like to see something happen. I trust him on this subject. I think he'd like to see something happen. I think it could have happened a long time ago. I think Biden, number one, it shouldn't have started. but it did. All those beautiful golden towers are knocked down. There's nothing going to replace them. But much more importantly, you lost millions of people. And this should have been done by Biden years ago. This should have never been allowed to happen. I know he's a friend of yours.
But couldn't Putin just withdraw his
He's a friend of
troops today?
CNN. That's why nobody watches CNN anymore, because they have no credibility.
First of all, Donald Trump is an absolute savage. This is what I like about the Trumper. He answered Rue's repeat question. Then he proceeded to eviscerate CNN. He refused to let Rue slide. He refused to allow the stupidity to go unchecked. And the thing is, the Trumper has already kicked Kaitlan Collins out of the White House before. Back in 2018, Kaitlan Collins, she lost her press credentials for doing basically exactly what she did yesterday in the Oval Office. The Trumper had her removed for asking repetitive questions. Trumper had her removed for yelling and asking inappropriate questions. Just because you work at CNN, that does not mean you're entitled to enter the White House. Hell, in some cases, working at CNN would automatically disqualify you from covering the White House. This is one of my problems with Kaitlan Collins, and she is not the only one in the mainstream media that does this. The Rue likes to ask what I call gotcha questions. You see, what the Rue was trying to do here, besides putting the attention and spotlight on herself and stealing a question from another reporter, the Rue was trying to see if Donald Trump would answer the question differently. Question was already asked and answered. The initial reporter asked, "Do you believe Vlad Putin when he says he wants peace?" Trumper said yes. But then Kaitlan Collins frames the question in a vague way. She asked, "Do you trust him?" You see what she's trying to do? She's trying to get the Trumper to say that he trusts Vlad Putin. That way she could take that soundbite back to CNN and use it on her primetime dump. We open tonight with the president admitting that he trusts Vlad Putin. My fellow Americans, we are in danger! Trump is selling us out to Mother Russia! But instead of Rue embarrassing the Trumper, she was the one humiliated. Credit to the Trumper for using her own tactics against her. If she keeps this up, I would not be surprised if Kaitlan Collins is once again removed from the White House. But give me your thoughts on this. Kaitlan Collins tries to stump the Trump. She tries to hit him with a gotcha question, but ends up getting embarrassed in the process. Classic Trump and classic Rue. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.